dream of flying, John Updegrove turned his dream into reality.
I used to drive through the countryside, and you always have that vision of, you know, if I could have a helicopter, I could be here now, and I could be a mile or two over on top of that hill in a minute or two.
10 years ago, this Calgary engineer designed and built the Mosquito. It's one of the world's only ultralight helicopters.
The most difficult thing to achieve and the biggest challenge for making an ultralight is that you have to keep it to 254 pounds. That's a U.S. ultralight regulation.
The ultralight designation means you don't need a pilot's license to fly it in the U.S. All you need is $25,000 and a lot of nerve.
It's about as close to being a bird as you can get.
Now, John has teamed up with some unlikely partners to help take his dream machine to the next level. This is the Mosquito XE, a new solo helicopter with the same bird's eye view, but without the bugs in your teeth.
It's thrilling. There's just nothing like it.
It really stretched everything I'd ever learned. It was kind of like my term paper, you know, for all the things I thought I'd learned in life. You know, engineering, stress, chemistry.
George Boynton is a retired boat builder. He spent 40 years making fiberglass hulls at boatyards like this one in Florida, owned by his friend Dwight Junkin. Neither George nor Dwight knew much about aircraft. But when they happened to see a photo of John's Mosquito in a magazine, it sparked an idea.
We kicked around for quite a while, and then George made a phone call to John, and he was interested.
And I said, well, do you ever think about putting a glass body on it? And he said, oh, I'd love to, but I don't know anybody could do it. And I said, well, you might.
So he gave me a call and said, you know, I'd like to build a fiberglass body for that open frame machine of yours. And I thought, well, sure, you know, you go ahead.
So basically he sent me a set of plans and we started scribbling.
John had good reason to be skeptical.
A lot of people call me up and have helicopter ideas and things they want to try, and, you know, I've heard a lot of things like that.
In this case, he wasn't sure the Florida boat builders could make a body that would be both lightweight and strong.
These boats will run anywhere from 10 to 15,000 pounds when they're done, so 10 pounds one way or the other doesn't make a difference.
But in a 254-pound ultralight, 10 pounds could make all the difference.
John gave me a 62-pound budget to make it happen. So I could draw anything I wanted as long as it weighed 62 pounds.
To meet that weight challenge, George drew on his experience. He realized that whether it's water or air, boats or helicopters, the same physics principles apply.
Fluid dynamics, you know, that's the name on the book. Basically, you change one part of the formula, you know, the density, and it pretty much works for aircraft.
But it wasn't quite that simple. To improve the strength-to-weight ratio of fiberglass, they had to perfect some new techniques.
The resin's a little bit different. It's a little bit more elastic resin, and the actual sheets of glass are, the way that they're sewn makes them stronger and lighter, which makes them a little bit more high-tech than what's done in the boats.
Actually, that part, after it's done, is this part in here, in the fuselage.
The final design was made from 46 individual parts, each one molded by hand. The sleek new body replaces the carbon aluminum frame of the original. But when it comes to piloting, the two machines are the same.
The controls are identical between the two.
And there are three key controls.
If you look at the blades above, while I move this lever, you can see that it moves them up, both of them up at the same time. This is the collective lever, and this is one of the key differences between a helicopter and an airplane.
By changing the pitch of the blades, the collective controls your up and down movement.
This is the cyclic stick, and this is what tells the helicopter where to go. So when you tilt the stick forward, it uses what's called a swash plate to tilt the whole main rotor forward, and that when it tilts that rotor plane, it gives you a bit of a thrust to the back and it'll carry you forward.
The foot pedals control the small tail rotor.
And then if you wanted to turn either way while you're in a hover, you step on this pedal, you turn to the left, step on that pedal, you turn to the right.
Great! Except for one thing. With no second seat for an instructor, how does a novice learn to fly the Mosquito?
Well, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I did read several books on the flight characteristics of a helicopter, and I got a few lessons over the phone from John.
Nope, he wasn't actually on the phone while flying. Still, Dwight says it only took him a day to learn the basics.
Everybody told me that was not a good idea without any proper training, but I'm just one of those people that's bullheaded enough that it sounded like a challenge.
The three friends now hope there are plenty of other people interested in that kind of challenge. They're marketing the machines to private buyers, especially ranchers and farmers.
A farmer could use it to fly out to his machinery, fly his fence line, check his fence line, herd cattle.
But even if they don't round up a herd of customers, they'll keep tinkering and flying for the sheer fun of it.